All right. Welcome back. I wanted to lighten the mood here on this channel. I think it's about that time to take it easy and reflect on some of the things we've talked about on this channel in the past. I actually talked about this on a live stream, may have been my most recent, but I want to dedicate a short video to this story. And that story was about the woman who spent 3 days in a hospital after her dog defecated inside of her mouth while she was asleep. Now, people, they wonder how that could happen. How could that possibly happen? Well, when you're talking about a small dog that you're allowing to sleep with you, that dog could be in very awkward positions. And from what I understand, the dog had diarrhea. And it, projected into her mouth as she slept. What did she say? She said it felt like she felt something squirt. See? Suddenly felt something squirt in my mouth. Do y'all know there really has not been many media outlets who covered this story? They've decided to avoid it for good reason. But we're going to get into the details and the significance of this story on this video. Now, she says she took a picture of the incident. Now, let's reflect on how dog lovers are. Just take it slow. We always talk about these people as being starved for attention. Starved for attention. Now, why on earth would she take a picture of this? Why would you do that? You would only do that if you craved attention. There's literally no motivation to take a photo of your face covered in dog excrement. Give those photos to the media. This is what she had to have done. She took the photos, shared them with the media. Why? To get attention. Isn't this something you would want to keep to yourself? As someone pointed out in the comment section. I can't remember who that was, but that was a very good point. Isn't this embarrassing? Wouldn't you want to keep this to yourself? Not if you are attention starved. Then it's the perfect meal ticket. And by the way, shout out to everybody who's able to join me for this live stream. Won't be too long. Shout out to Morpheus Christos in the super chat. He said it's the most disgusting story he's ever read. What makes it worse is the way people are so quick to forgive these things for their nastiness. And I want to reflect on that on this video. Their nastiness, how nasty they are. These things are dangerously nasty. Now, I shared a link to the story in the community section. And I emphasized on the fact that she was in the hospital for 3 days. Look at how badly her health was impacted by this. Understandably so. Now, many of you follow the channel. You know I've gone over information in depth about how dangerous dog excrement is. It's more toxic than the waste from any other so-called animal. And that's understandable. Seeing that dogs are more dangerous than other animals, more aggressive, more of everything except intelligent. So she had to spend 3 days in the hospital. Dog feces may contain several types of microorganisms, potentially pathogenic for humans. Bacteria that are pathogens for the intestinal tract and cause diarrhea include Campylobacter, Salmonella, Yersinia, and E. coli. Now, this woman said she had violent cramps that spread all throughout her body. Now, the problem with that is virtually all of these infections, that's one of the side effects, cramps and diarrhea. So this lady may not have just been infected with one. She could have been infected with multiple microorganisms, bacteria, who knows, viruses, and definitely parasites. The dog itself had a stomach virus that caused diarrhea. People with Campylobacter infection usually have diarrhea, often bloody, fever, and stomach cramps. Listen to that. This is the filth of dogs. I had somebody today, I had a coworker today. I said something about dogs. And he just came out and said, "You're not going to get me to agree with you about dogs." He made up his mind before even listening to any of the information. And it reminded me there are a lot of people out here like this. There's certain things that they don't want to learn. And they close their mind off to all new information. And that's okay. But just understand, you don't have to agree with me. And my goal was not to reform my co-worker, but he knows my thoughts on dogs, and he thought it was a moment where I was going to try to convince him or convert him. I don't do that. I have a YouTube channel. If people want to hear me talk about dogs, they can come to this channel. I'm not going to try to force it on the people. But it dawned on me that, people don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with me. I'm not asking you to simply agree with me. I basically ask people to find the flaws in my arguments. Because I don't really make arguments. I just look up the facts and share them. So you don't have to agree with me. You don't have to be against dogs. That does not mean that what I'm saying is incorrect. What I'm saying is still correct. And in this case, dogs should be banned for health reasons alone. A lot of people want to object. Hey, this dog is not dangerous. I've never been bitten by a dog. We're going to go over a couple comments left by some dog lovers on my channel. Dog lovers, just understand, you ever decide to come out of your face on my channel, I'm going to make an example out of you. Usually, the crusaders handle you. But sometimes, I want to chime in. Okay? Now, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, this is a pro dog website. I've shared information from this website before. Serious dangers of dog poop. Most of us think it's gross. In actuality, it is much worse than gross. Listen to that. It is dangerous. So dangerous that the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency labeled dog waste a non-point source pollutant in the same category as toxic chemicals from motor vehicles, pesticides, and more. They even suggest flushing it down the toilet rather than letting it pile up in your yard. The CDC warns that one single dog dropping can contain 3 million fecal bacteria, along with parasites and viruses that can be passed to humans, adults, and children, as well as other animals. Now think about this. A single drop, 3 million fecal bacteria. She ingested a lot more than a drop. Can you imagine how destroyed the inside of her body is? Not just her stomach. She probably got parasites all throughout her body right now. All kinds of crazy bacteria. These are the people you want to kiss at night. No, you want to date a dog lover. Say, oh, it's extreme. To say you wouldn't date someone who is a dog lover, is it really extreme? Now, they listed 4 infections in the previous page. Look at this. They listed 3 times as many. This chart shows some of the parasites, bacteria, and viruses that could be present in dog feces. Cryptosporidium. We've actually gotten into all of these before. But this is a new one. Canine hepatitis. Wow. Staph infection. Can you imagine ingesting something? A staph infection? Did you get internal staph infection? This is horrible. This is very dangerous. For health reasons alone, dogs should be not only banned, but driven into extinction. You can disagree with that belief, but that does not change the fact that these things are highly toxic and we would be much better off without them. That remains a fact. According to Live Science, America's 83 million dogs produce some 10 million tons of crap every year. Here's where it gets nastier. A single gram contains an estimated 23 million bacteria. Wow. And for the most part, they're just talking about how dangerous traces of bacteria is. Even though they're talking about a gram or a scoop, you can imagine that simple traces of excrement is extremely dangerous. Has to be. So man, salmonella, she probably had all of these, maybe except for rabies. Now, she started to vomit violently, according to her, after this happened. She herself had diarrhea. Right? She was kept on a drip for 3 days. Now, all my medical people, please enlighten us on what a drip is. I don't want to. Okay, what are y'all looking at here? Yeah, I don't want to pause the live stream. Fill us in on what a drip is. You know, they take you in the hospital, they hook you up, and they got all this stuff going inside your body. What does it do? And are you in real bad condition if you're put on a drip? Please enlighten us. I don't know. But I do know this woman was in serious trouble. Culprit for infection was the dog. Now, y'all remember I shared some information about dog waste in the air. Y'all remember? And look, this source names even more. Parvovirus, whipworms, hookworms, roundworms, threadworms, Campylobacter, giardia. What is this? I never even heard of this. And there are probably a bunch of viruses, bacteria that we've never heard of, that I've never even pronounced. The microscopic hookworm can be passed to another pet or person directly through the skin or by accidental ingestion. Yeah, that would be that woman. Simply walking in an infected yard, then entering a home, will track bacteria and can infect anyone in the household and quickly sicken or hospitalize high-risk individuals such as young children. Here you go. And that's just by tracking the dog crap in the house on the bottom of your shoe. So you can imagine her body probably her body went into shock because of how toxic dogs are. Now, if the inside of these things are that toxic, then the outside of these things can't be all that much cleaner. Man, this is nasty. How many of y'all remember I shared this information? This was in the Seattle Times. Study finds bacteria from dog feces floating in the air. Team of researchers studied 100 air samples collected from 4 different cities. And they found that the most dominant type of bacteria in the winter is the same one found in dog feces. Floating in the air. So this stuff is so toxic, intoxicating. It doesn't have to physically touch you. You don't have to physically touch it to be exposed to it. Eventually, you can simply inhale it. And it will then travel all throughout your lungs. And this is what happens. And I believe this is why so many of us become sick. A lot of people want to say that, oh, just getting sick is something natural for us. I don't think so. I believe humans are far too evolved to deal with the kind of sicknesses that we deal with. We deal with these sicknesses because of backwards behavior. People living like disgusting dogs themselves. This was, I think, NBC News. Dog pollution. Study finds fecal bacteria in the air. Science News. Bacteria from dog feces present in outdoor air in urban areas. People, dismiss what they said about 4 different cities. If they found it in 4 different cities, rest assured, this is the case in every city. Nobody's safe. Do y'all know how much dog excrement is dispensed by dogs each year? Was it like 10 million? It's like millions upon millions. Dogs poop twice per day, 14 piles in just 1 week. Same amount of bacteria. Where was that? Here, let me go to this website. I want to run that across you all briefly. And that is, how much waste from dogs is accumulated every year. Here we go right here. So that would be, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, 10 million tons. 10.6 million tons every year. A ton is 2,000 pounds. Isn't that right? A ton is 2,000 pounds. And they say 10.6 million tons every year. How much weight is that? In pounds. Very little, if any of it, is flushed down the toilet. So what happens to it? It sits. It will eventually end up in our water. And the major contaminant of our drinking water is dog excrement. So you can see how just traces of it causes a whole lot of harm. I believe this woman is lucky to be alive. She's lucky to be alive. And this should scare dog lovers. When you're asleep, if you're dumb enough to allow your dog to sleep with your dog, anything can happen to you while you're asleep. Shared that video where dogs lick inside of people's mouths when they sleep. Look at how sick she became. And just think to yourself, dogs regularly eat excrement, whether it be their own or from another animal. Wherever they find it, they'll eat it. These things, dogs are more disgusting than I'm able to explain or articulate. They really are. It's like a very intense, violent level of nastiness. A destructive, dangerous level of nastiness. These things will eat their own excrement without thinking twice about it. And you want to say that when they lick you, that's a kiss? You want to make the dog licking you equivalent to human kisses? No, thank you. And people like you should not be allowed into public places. People who are this nasty need to be isolated for health reasons. We're not talking about dog attacks right now. For health reasons. A lot of people say that the things I say and believe is extreme. No, it's not. It's practical. And it's the most obvious solution to the problem at hand. What's extreme is having dogs in our society. Everything I've gone over, as far as the waste from dog, that's extreme. What's extreme is having so much dog waste in our society that it's actually airborne now. That's extreme. I wouldn't offer an extreme solution had you not created an extreme problem. So yeah, people don't have to agree with me. In fact, I want to hear from people who don't agree with me. I want to hear you prove me wrong. I beg for these types of people to show up. Here recently, a couple of them did. Siri Khalsa said, I had no idea a dog-hating community existed. I mean, if I thought about it, I assume there is a community for everything. There are certainly crazy dog owners out there. But really, I've been attacked by humans, never dogs. Oh, here we go. Here we go with another typical dog lover rhetoric, narrative. Oh, humans are far worse. I've been attacked by humans, never dogs. Dogs, love them, don't love them, whatever. Humans are way scarier, this person says. More dangerous than dogs, as I see it. What do you mean, as you see it? There is no as you see it. Either humans are more dangerous or they're not. But I know that you have not examined the facts. I know you're not level-headed. Dog lovers, you cannot be a practical, level-headed person with common sense and intelligence. If you do something to harm yourself, that's an example of a lack of intelligence. Just imagine, let's say, a roadway. Just picture to yourself a roadway. And you have living organisms crossing the street. And every time they cross the street, they get run over by a car. And they still keep running out into the street. None of them ever make it to the other side. They all see what's happening, but they try to cross the street anyways. Now, on the flip side, say those same organisms were run over 2 or 3 times, and then the other organisms made sure to make that the coast was clear before they crossed the road. That's a sign of intelligence. You can identify intelligent behavior. It's not some mystery. When you do things that causes harm to yourself and or others, that's not intelligent. When you behave in a way that thwarts your quality of life and your very existence, that's not intelligent. So this person says that humans are crazier, humans are worse. But like I said, people, none of these people who say this, they would never want to be around dogs if they had the option. I've give this example every time, and it works every time. Siri, if what you say is true, then you would be willing to migrate to an island full of dogs. You're the only human. There's no food. Now you have the option. Live on the island with those dogs. Let's say 1,000 dogs. And just you. Let's make a pit bull. Let's make them bully breeds. Few German shepherds. You can live on that island, or you can live on an island with 1,000 human beings. None of you will go to the island with the dogs. None of you. Now, I won't say none of you. Some of you may be actually that dumb. I won't put it past all of you. But most dog lovers, they would secretly, privately say, send me to the island with the people. Both dogs and people are capable of causing harm, but you would take your chances with the human beings because it's not a typical thing for humans to simply attack you out of the blue for no reason. Don't be ridiculous. You know full well dogs are more dangerous than human beings. You know full well. And you would never be stupid enough to prove that. Put your life on the line and prove that. And who cares if you personally have never been attacked? I've never really been attacked. Am I supposed to somehow say and believe that dogs are safe and harmless because I personally never been attacked? Do you see, people, how much of a psychopath of a person that you have to be to say something like that? Where you have no ability to put yourself in the shoes of the general public, which is what I did. Even though I've never personally been attacked, I've researched thousands of stories where people have been attacked. I've paid attention to the statistics. I look at the medical reports, and I concluded that dogs are a safety hazard. And that's irrefutable. So it doesn't matter if you've never been personally attacked. That doesn't prove anything. That doesn't somehow magically cause all dog attack victims to disappear. These people, when they respond and they get into fantasy talk, where it's no information, no facts, no evidence, it's just their feelings, that's when you know they have nothing to offer. No substance. What, like this person, Cream Puffization, said, and some of y'all wonder why someone would rather hang out with their dog than be around your negativity. What's negative? Pointing out the fact that pit bulls are a safety hazard? Pointing out how disgusting and dangerous, how filthy and nasty dogs are? Pointing out the truth about dogs in your mind is being negative. Here you have a stinking, slobbering, dangerous mutant that you have to hold with a rope to keep it from attacking people. Filthy bacteria, viruses everywhere. And when people say, look, I don't want to be around that, you call them negative? No, you're negative. We're positive. Pointing out how negative, pointing out the fact you're endangering people, the fact that you're helping to contaminate the air we breathe, the water we drink. That's negative. That's being negative. No, that's a response to negative behavior. Very negative and antisocial. The behavior of a psychopath. That is what you are. Nobody would say anything to you or about you if you were not violating everyone in society. You see, you dog lovers, you don't just violate yourself. You bring these things into society. They affect everybody in the society in some way. If I go outside and get attacked right now, you can't say that that's the only side effect that I've dealt with as far as dogs in the community, because I've been breathing in traces of their excrement my whole life. They've contributed to several infections and illnesses. I've had health issues. The attack was simply another negative way the dog impacted society, as they do every day. 14,000 people bitten every day. It's the dogs that are negative. But dog lovers only deal with feelings and emotions, never with facts, no statistics, nothing. And I just don't trust people who don't rely on the facts. This is why I don't worry about people who don't agree with. I don't need people to agree with me. I know that I'm grounded in information. That is what that's the foundation of my arguments. The information I've gathered. So whether you think we're negative or not is irrelevant. Can you prove that what we're saying is false? No, you can't. No, you can't. And that means you're still endangering people. It's you that behaves like a psychopath and a sociopath, not me, not us. We're not violating anybody else's existence. You are with your dog. So why don't you stop? You know, don't point out the fact that I have 4 flat tires. You're being negative. Is that what we're on? Shout out to someone in the super chat. Shout out Morpheus Christos again in the super chat. All dog owners engage in corporophagia, consumption of oh yeah, and some for yeah. Again, that's an excellent point, people. These dog lovers, dog waste is all over dogs' bodies. It's all over their fur, their skin. It's everywhere. So inside of a home, you're not getting just trace amounts like you're getting outside in these cities where they found traces of excrement. You're getting a whole lot worse environment than that. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? They're talking about how polluted the air outside is, which is very polluted. The air inside of your home is much worse. And every time you sit down on your bed, every time you walk across the carpet, it's getting kicked up and re-kicked up into the atmosphere for you to sniff. That is disgusting. No, I don't want to come inside of your home. You want to call me a negative person because of that? See, this is the dog lover logic. They always have to be the victim. You always have to be the perpetrator, and they can do no wrong. Just like their dog. They feel like their dog can do no wrong. They can do no wrong. And anybody who objects to the safety hazard and health hazard, they're somehow the villain. Think about that, man. Dogs go outside, roll in excrement and other things. And what do dogs do every 5-10 seconds? They shake their entire body. So it's not bad enough that you walk across the floor and you kick stuff up in the atmosphere. You sit down on a bed, a sofa, stuff goes flying up through the atmosphere. Also, every 5-10 seconds, this mutt shakes its entire body inside your home. And all of that goes airborne. You're breathing in all kinds of excrement. It's getting all over your food and everywhere. That is nasty and unacceptable. And because of that, I will never go into the house of a dog owner. That's not me being evil or being negative. You're so mean. You're mean. You're being negative. People kill me. These nutters truly kill me. So, nutters, you're welcome. If you are not aware already, you're nasty. Your car, your vehicle is nasty. Look, I don't want to get inside of your vehicle. You have dog and you know when the dog is inside the vehicle, it has its bare anus on the seat. No, thank you. That's far too nasty for me. You want to call me names because I don't want to be around your filth? I don't want to be in the presence of your land shark. By the way, that's an excellent description of pit bulls. I'm the bad guy because I don't want to be around your land shark, because I don't want to take the chance I'm supposed to just cross my fingers and hope that your mutt doesn't maul me? No, thank you. Those days of sending people on a guilt trip for not wanting to put up and participate in this filthy, nasty lifestyle, those days are over. Y'all better get used to it. You better get used to it. Big shout out to everybody able to join me. Mr. Payne, Serena, Carve, got some new faces in here. Vampire. How y'all doing? What is this? Hump Day. How y'all doing on this hump day? Yeah, this is a nasty live stream. My apologies, people. I should have gave y'all a heads up. This is a nasty live stream. But it's always nasty. Something's always cringe when it comes to this nasty lifestyle. Yeah, and think about it. Many of these people work in the food industry. They're preparing your food early in the morning. They're not washing their hands. They don't wash their hands before they eat themselves. They rub on their dog, and then they handle food and eat it. If they don't care about their own food, why would they care about yours? Mr. Champagne, big shout out to you. I see you. Silva, Wendy Yogurt, Buster Gundo, Neon Dion in the building. Sibby Red. Yeah, man. This is real. Now, you're talking about an excrement machine. That's what dogs are. It's so nasty. They don't wipe their rear end. They go out, take a dump, and go right back in the house, sit on the furniture, on the floor. Can you imagine how much excrement is inside the homes of dog lovers? That is a study waiting to happen. Can you imagine? Because if the outside air is contaminated with dog excrement, how contaminated is the inside of these people's homes where the dog rubs excrement all over the place? Shakes and all this kind of stuff. It's nasty. I'm not being mean. You don't have to agree with me. It's still nasty. Disagree all you want. This is still dangerous. Right? Bronze Flat Power God. All right. Big shout out to you for joining us in this live stream. Moochie, I see you. And I'll most likely be back very soon because I have something else that I want to touch on. I just wanted to deal with this real quick. There are not really hardly any videos on this story. I wanted to do my part, provide one for the public. And I hope to see you all on the next live stream as we continue with this crusade.